Hey, what's up, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to the Water Bearer podcast. Welcome to the show. If this is your first time watching, then welcome. And if you've been rocking with me since day one, welcome as well. While you're here, go ahead and join the Drip family. And sharing is caring, but subscribing is thriving. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you have not already done so. I would greatly appreciate it. And make sure to like this video as well, so that way you can have a greater chance of being shared with viewers like yourself. So I really appreciate that. Also, the show is available every Thursday, so you can catch the drip every Thursday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. And also for social media, you can follow me on Instagram, Poetic, same spelling is on my hat. But for those who are just listening and not watching the video, it's P-E-A-U-X-E-T-I-C. And then on TikTok, it's the same spelling, but just with the number 7 at the end. And my guest tonight, make sure you follow her, Tiffany, on Facebook at Tiffany Obeng dash ESQ. So I'm going to spell the whole thing out just to make sure you all have it correctly. So it's Tiffany, Tiffany, Obeng, Obeng. And I hope I pronounced that correctly. So I'll ask her. And then dash ESQ. And at Sugar Cookie Books on Instagram. So that's all one word, no dashes, anything like that, all together. Sugar Cookie Books. So Tiffany is my guest for today. She is a Sagittarius. So big up to all of the Sagittarians out there. And a famous Sagittarius is Janelle Monáe, who's one of my favorite musicians. Now, Tiffany, I'm really trying to go back through my mental Rolodex of all of my guests, because she may be, to date, the guest that I have known the longest. We went to school together, and really reconnected through being authors. She has countless children's books. She is always writing, and she owns Sugar Cookie Books as well, so which is geared towards African American children. And she highlights that segment. And she also is a lawyer, and she's a wife and a mother. So I don't know how she has time to do all these things. And she's also an equal opportunity professional. So definitely something that is needed in today's time. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and bring Tiffany out with us. Hello. Hey, Tiffany. Oh, let me see. I can't.
Hey,
Oh, there it is.
Carlos.
Okay. Hey. So, Tiffany, how are you?
Good. My children in the background making noise. So I muted myself.
Oh, no, you're good. Thank you so much for joining me. I really, really appreciate having you on.
Yes. And I appreciate that intro. And you had my
Oh,
last
of
name
course.
right.
Okay.
One of few people who can say it right.
Okay. I hate is well, I mean, well, you know my last name, of course, because we went to school together, but I've heard everything from Harleyux to Harlos to Harlocks to, so I try to get other people's names right.
But I was chuckling because when you were doing Tiffany Obeng SQ, like S ESQ. So do you
Yeah,
want to
no,
know
I
what
was.
that stands for?
Oh, yeah, I figured it stands for Esquire, right?
Yes. Okay.
Okay, that's what I thought. I just wanted to make sure when, as I was saying it, for the people who aren't watching the video, that they like fully understood the tag. But yeah, no, that's really dope. Yeah, anything I left out though that you want, or anything you want to add?
No, I think you covered it, man. And I'm
Okay.
just looking so forward to this time together. And yeah,
Yes.
we have known each other for a while, but like you said, we reconnected. I was actually inspired by Carlos to get into the author game. And by
Oh
that, I
wow, thank
mean,
you.
I tell you that all the
Well,
time.
I mean, it's even though you told me that before, it just I don't know. I guess it just kind of seems like it's a dream almost because um just watching you, I mean, you just do it so effortlessly that it just seems like just, you know, made to do all of the books and things that you do.
Well, thank you. But yeah, seeing that you were able to put out your own books, I was like, wait, he can publish books. And so yeah, you were the example that I got to see
Oh,
doing
well,
what
thank
I'm
you.
doing. And so yeah.
Thank you. Hey, I appreciate that. So, okay, so I have to ask you, so how many books do you have now at this point?
Ooh, okay. So I just did a visit and we counted my books, and I think we
Okay.
came up to 24.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. That's amazing. 24 books. Okay. And
In
before we
4
get too
years.
deep into conversation, I assume people can get your books on the website, Sugar Cookie Books
Yeah, you can go to
website.
sugarcookiebooks.com.
Okay.
Also, everybody always asks, is it on Amazon? So yeah, you can go to Amazon.
Yes.
Every major
Yeah.
online retailers. You got it.
Yes. Yes. Okay. That's awesome. I love that. Yeah, everybody does ask that. And Tiffany and I have talked about that a lot, just outside of today's podcast. For those who don't know, Amazon, they actually take quite a large percentage of your sales. So if I'm not publishing, if I'm pubbing somebody's book or announcing it, I always want to know, okay, what's your website? Because that's where I want to direct people to go, so you get more of the profit.
That's cool.
Yes, yes.
And I said it like that because my website is going to take you straight to Amazon. I use them
Okay.
for my fulfillment and everything, so I don't have to.
Hey, no, I get
Because I
it.
work.
It's
I
easy.
work.
Yeah, yeah,
I got kids,
yeah.
as you said.
Right, right.
So yeah.
Okay. Okay. Awesome. All right. Well, do you mind sharing your birthday with us?
Yes. So my birthday, the day I was extracted from my mother's body, was,
I love it.
was December 7th.
December 7th. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Cool. Cool. Okay. So you are Sagittarius. All right. So,
According to the calendar, yes.
yeah. Yes. Okay. So let me tell you. Okay. So y'all don't know this, but so I try not to make these podcasts too scripted, because I want to leave room for anything that can happen with the guests. So when I reached out to you first, I was grateful that you said yes. I never take that for granted that anybody says yes and they agree to be on. But I thought, okay, we're going to talk about some Sagittarius traits and, definitely talk about your books. And you threw me for a loop when you said that you were trans Zodiac. And you said, you said you identify as a Capricorn. So I gotta know, how did you get to be trans Zodiac as a Capricorn?
Every time I say that, which is not often, it just cracks me up because what the response, like to see you guys' face or to interpret what that was when I text you that. It's just always
That was
hilarious.
hilarious.
But I say that because one, my birth date, estimated birth date was December 25th. So that makes sense that I would be trans Zodiac.
Oh, okay.
Right. And
Okay.
so when I was younger and understood the different traits about Sagittarius, I did feel like I aligned closer with Sagittarius, and also because my birthday said so. But as I
Right.
become an adult, I feel like I'm really more characteristically aligned with Capricorns.
Huh.
And probably
Okay.
because my estimated birth date was December 25th.
Okay. Okay, I get it now. That makes sense. Okay. So what is it about Capricorn, or just give me a couple things that you think you identify more with that sign than you do with Sagittarius?
So I had to go and look up the signs once again. And I
Mhm.
think it's part of being a Capricorn. I had to
Capricorns are always prepared and they're always working. So you definitely have
see.
that.
So according to allure.com, not trying to pub them or anything, but that's just where I landed.
Okay.
They say that Capricorns are consistent. And I think I'm a very consistent person in
I agree.
every part and facet of my life, probably to a fault. Practical, very practical, and determined. I am determined, as we see with these books, for example.
Yes, that's right.
Um,
24. I mean, hey.
exactly. I am very goal oriented. And I like what they had about, though people perceive me as being conservative, which I do have conservative thoughts, and I'm not talking about politically, but
Right.
why I
Right.
am conservative. I do have a wild side. I do like to get my party on. So I was like,
Hey,
yes,
nothing wrong with that, right?
exactly.
Okay. I'm following that. And it's interesting because I feel like some of those traits bleed over from Sagittarius. So I feel like they're also
Mm,
very goal driven, very competitive, not necessarily with other people, but I feel like they're very competitive with themselves. So I feel like a Sagittarius is always going to figure out, okay, how can I top the last thing that I did? Um, One thing I'm curious though, if you have these Sagittarian traits. So I guess it's two things. So a lot of things I've heard about Sagittarians is that they are truthful, but to a point where sometimes their truth might cut a little bit,
right.
and also that they're very adventurous. So do you feel like you fit those two things?
So I feel like, and it was funny, digress real quick. It was funny because right before we got on, me and my son was having a little banter, and I said something, and I was like, that's kind of Sagittarius, isn't it?
You did.
But I feel like when I was younger, I was more blunt, or,
Mhm.
didn't really mind my words. But I feel like with maturity and being older, that I
Okay.
realized you can deliver your message, but you don't have to deliver your message like that. So
Right.
when I was younger, I definitely had that characteristic of just saying whatever came to my mind. And as they say, people would laugh. Some people would laugh, but a lot of times it would, rub people the wrong way. And I was like, whatever, that's the way I am. Just accept it. But as
Right.
you get older, like, you don't got time for that.
That's true. And of course I know back then we were younger, but I've always known you to be like you speak your mind, but I've never known you to be rude. So I never felt like that. And where I feel like Capricorns actually lean heavier than Sagittarius on that. I feel like they're a little more direct. But great to have as friends, because what I love about a Capricorn and even Sagittarius too, um, they are not the friend that you want to ask a question that you don't want to know the answer to,
Yeah.
because they're going to give you the real, like, okay, you asked me, this is what it is.
Right. Right. And I have a Capricorn friend who is just like that. And be like, or it'd be like unsolicited sometimes. Like, girl, nobody
Right.
asked you
Why you telling me
to
this?
give your point of view on nothing.
Right.
And then, adventurous. So I think let me think. So when I was younger, I feel like, again, I was more adventurous, but now I'm more like, and when I think about adventure, I think about like bungee jumping, like things like that. That's what I think about when I think about adventure.
Okay.
I don't ride roller coasters anymore. Like, I'm like, you're
Really?
not going to get
Not
me.
at all?
No,
Really? Not any.
no.
So is it only certain ones you don't get on, or is it just all of them? Pretty
Any that
much.
the adult can get on. So I'll get on a teacup. I don't know if that's considered a roller coaster, but my husband loves roller coasters. And I'm like, dude, I'm not doing that. Like, why?
Now,
Why do
what's
I have
his
to sit
sign?
up there and be scared? Like, that doesn't bring me pleasure to
Right,
get
to
on a
get
roller
on a roller
coaster.
coaster.
Yes.
Oh,
So,
that's funny.
so yeah. So like in terms of that, or let me see, what's other types of adventure can you think of real quick?
Well, I think when I think of Sagittarians, I feel like they are expert travelers. If you want to
I do
know,
travel.
like, places to go, things to do while you're there, I feel like a Sagittarius, they would make great tour guides, because they're always exploring, um, kind of looking for the next thrill. If it's not going to be
Yeah,
something
no.
maybe physically, like they're looking for something that's going to stimulate them mentally, I feel like.
I do like to travel, but I'm the person that's going to sit in the resorts with my feet kicked up on the beach.
Really? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so
I do
no.
excursions, but not like a lot of them. And when I think about that trait, of wandering, of adventure. I think about my cousin who she is like right before Sagittarius begins, but she has that free spirit. We call her like that flower child because she picks up and goes wherever her mind takes her, wherever. She went backpacking. She's been living in Bali or around that area for like, yes.
Oh, so
like,
she's serious.
Serious. And the only reason she's back stateside is because every few years you have to like come back to reclaim your citizenship or something in the US. And so to remain a citizen, that's the only reason she's back. But she will up and go. As my mom says, she goes from pillar to post. She do not care. She will roam. She has nothing holding her. And she's very smart, very smart. But yeah, so she's like, oh, why not? Like YOLO, I guess. I don't know. But I'm like, I could never by myself.
You know what? I kind of, when I was younger, I had that same mindset too. Like I wouldn't want to go travel and things by myself. And I don't really have regret, but I do feel like I wish I had taken more travel opportunities when I was younger. Even with COVID, to some degree, I feel like I could have maxed, and I know we're technically still in it because it's kind of on the rise again, but when it was at the height, other than the safety concerns, I feel like I could have taken advantage of traveling more during those times, especially since I work from home.
That's adventure.
You're right. Hey, well, yeah, that's true. That's adventure.
Places that may not be able to get back home. No, thank you. That's that practical side of me. Like, right. No, I got to get back home. Okay.
Right. Okay. So you said now your husband likes roller coasters.
Yes.
So what is his sign?
He is a Taurus.
Oh, okay, cool. That seems like and from what I've read, I think Sagittarius and Taurus is a really good match. I think Taurus.
They said avoid them. Sagittarius avoid Taurus and Capricorns.
Really? Oh,
and Taurus. See, it's all lining up, isn't it?
Hey, see, boom, that's it.
Even though I'm probably just building my case, but I'm just pulling all the good stuff.
But you know what? It's funny you say that because one of my best friends, he's a Capricorn. His wife is a Taurus. And I feel like Taurus people, they are really good grounders.
That's good.
They can just help center you. I don't know. I just feel like they're really good with that.
I think he is good. He's a guy, so he's laid back for the most parts, but he's very bullheaded. So that part about being and he's the oldest. And he was a son. So the oldest son and a Taurus. Y'all see what I'm dealing with over here?
Okay. Gotcha. Okay, that makes sense.
So yeah, in a nutshell.
Nice.
But we work.
Okay. That's cool. And so so that leads me to my next question. So how do you balance everything you have going on? You're a lawyer. I mean, and I'm not saying any job is better or worse than another, but to be a lawyer and a children's book author, that's a lot by itself. Then not even factoring in a wife and a mother. So
I know.
How do you juggle everything?
So, you know what? I need to write a book about this because everybody always asks me that. So I'm like, it must be really a good question. Like people really need to know. I need to package it and
you make it look easy.
Well, so when I first started, it was during the pandemic, like many of us who started off on something. And during that time, I was still working, of course, but we had like a little bit more freedom in time, or because commute, let's just take commute, for example. You're not commuting anymore. And so that takes an hour minimum or gives you back an hour minimum in your day. Right. And then, so during the pandemic or just adjusting to new life, I think I was partaking in what my friend has told me, bibliotherapy. So writing these books as a form of therapy for myself, because along with the pandemic being in shutdown, scared that you're going to die any second if you walk outside the house.
Yeah.
And then I got pregnant during that time, or became pregnant during that time. So now I'm really scared. Like, then you don't know if your spouse is going to be able to be in a hospital room with you. It was a lot going on. And we had the social unrest on top of that and an election, it was a lot. So
yeah, that's true. And here we are again at another election
Don't.
almost. Yeah.
And what's so
Whew.
sad
Yeah.
is I'm trying to, and I know this is not a political podcast, but I'm trying to
No,
really get
wherever it
excited
goes.
about the possibility
Mhm.
of Kamala
Same.
Harris.
Me too.
But it's so hard because that other thing is just so they and the people who are with him just make it so difficult.
Yeah,
So
they
anyway,
are
but
diehard supporters.
yes. So I'm
Like,
like,
yeah,
come on, you need to cherish this moment. This is like back in 2008. I mean, of course, I'm rallying with her and I support her and everything, but
right.
it's just like it's hard to be like, yes, because you just really don't know. I don't know. So anyway, back to what we were talking about. So
No, that I mean, hey, it fits the conversation to me. So yeah.
So I started writing or publishing, and then I realized that it was helping me get through that time. It helped me find a purpose during that time, meaningful stuff to do. And then when I was talking to people about what I was doing and how I was doing it, they were like, "Oh, that makes sense because you're an EL professional. Like that all aligns." And I'm like, "Oh, I never thought about that." And then you just start thinking about your life and like different moments in your life, and you're like, "Oh, that's why I was acting like that." Because I've always been this type of person or whatever. That
Right.
I've always been ethical, like very ethical, very responsible. Capricorn tendencies. And, and that's why I'm like a lawyer because of those things. But whenever I thought something was not justified, so injustice was happening, I would say something not like on a large scale, but like just have those conversations with my mom or whoever. Like taking up for people was the thing I do, which is a lawyer again. So anywho, so that's how it started. And I think that's how it kept going. And then when I started practicing law, so technicalities or formalities or semantics. So I'm a lawyer by trade, and sometimes I practice, sometimes I don't. So during the pandemic, I wasn't practicing attorney, whatever y'all think that means. And then during
so you weren't. So I take it that to mean you basically weren't taking on cases at that time, or
I was taking on cases, and then stuff. I'm like, it's semantics because people are like, "Oh, do you practice law?" And I'm like, So I had a legal adjacent job where I worked with the same statutes and laws that I worked with when I went to practicing law, and so that took up a lot of time. That took so much time. It was a remote job, and it was supposed to be flexible hours. And I think, when did I do this? 2023. And it was supposed to be flexible hours, but I was finding it very difficult to find the time to write and publish. So I think that goes back to the time. So with the pandemic and being in the job that I had, I actually did have the flexibility. So for lunchtime, for example, I had a lunchtime. So for lunchtime, I can write or review illustrations or do something that I wanted to do or needed to do for my books to be produced. I can start uploading them for publications. I had like little pockets of time to do that. It wasn't as hard to find. But then when I was practicing law for that year, because I was like, practicing law for that year, I was finding it so hard, and I would have to like wait till I put the kids to sleep to find at least 30 minutes to do something. But time management, I write on a go. I don't really hold myself to any timetable. Usually when I was writing Andrew Learns About Chefs, I did for the first part of the year was like, y'all come on this journey with me so I can make sure I get this Andrew Learns About Chefs done. Otherwise we're going to still be a year or so later and I haven't put it out. But usually I give myself a lot of grace. Like, girl, it's just you. Like, you don't have anybody telling you to do this. So I try to give myself grace. When ideas come to me, I write it down in my trusty little phone. And then as the ideas start building out, then I keep writing it in my phone. And when it actually starts looking like it's a manuscript, I might sit down. That's when I start taking time to like sit down and really flesh it out. Things like that. And then, like I said, when the children go to sleep, a little bit of time between the children going to sleep and talking to my husband, like maybe he's working out or maybe he's in the shower or something. So taking little pockets of time, filling pockets of time. That's what
Hey, that could be a book in itself.
Filling pockets of time.
Hey.
So yeah, that's what really I did. Just try to, and I liked doing it, and it was very therapeutic. So you're going to want to do something that you like doing. So you're going to find the time to do it. And so I was just finding the time. And then, like you said, after you publish like a couple of times, you kind of understand the process much better. So it goes much smoother, as you keep doing it.
Right. And being that you love writing, do you find, because I'm always curious to get people's take on this, things like doing this podcast or writing, even though there's work that goes into it, but it always feels like a release for me. Like it doesn't really feel like I'm working. So I could be tired. I maybe have worked all day, but then I do that and I feel energized. So do you feel somewhat the same way when you're working on your books?
Energized, productive. Again, I think the purpose that I've kind of fell into, I didn't know I was doing it, like doing meaningful work when I started writing and publishing books. But now that I know that what I'm doing is meaningful and has a purpose, like that drives me, that motivates me to keep going. And so like, oh man, this is the part of, like, this is my responsibility. I talked earlier to somebody about Dr. Maya Angelou and what's her legacy and what she means. And I'm like, she was very into, making sure you use your voice and making sure you do your part to, I don't want to say to achieve equality, but just to make right with the world. And so I'm like, I'm doing my part in my little corner of the world to try to affect some type of change, positive change in society.
You're doing big things. No, that's amazing. No, it's not little at all. I mean, so for those of you who may not be aware, Jack and Jill, they do an event like every year. Well, they have a couple of events that vendors can do. Yeah. And so I knew that you had a lot of books, but when we did that event together, October last year, seeing it in real time, and I don't even think those were all of your books that you had there, right?
They were the first day, but about a second day,
Yeah. So no, you're doing big things. You're killing it. That's really dope.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Of course. Okay, and so that brings me to this segment that I have. I've been doing with everybody. The questions are different, but it's the same segment each season. So as how do I say this? Sagittarius trans Capricorn. I have a scenario.
People gonna be like, what are y'all talking about?
Hey, I can't believe that. Like I say, I've been kind of using that in the promotions too. And it's funny because this is my 5th season and this is the first time I've encountered someone saying that they identify with another sign, but I love it. It's cool. So this is a hypothetical scenario. Maybe it could be an actual scenario that you've had. I'm not sure. But what would be your high vibrational and low vibrational response to someone saying, why do you feel the need to cater to African American children in your books? Right.
So as I prepare about response.
Right. I see your face kind of went to the low immediately.
The gall.
Like, say what? Right.
First off, okay, so is high vibration like non-PC?
Yeah, like basically the good and bad, or the PC versus the non-PC response.
Okay, so the non-PC response is, first of all, I can do what I want. Second of all, who said I'm catering? I'm not catering. It's not pandering. It's authentic. Like, as I say, my son Andrew, he is the likeness. He is the name of most of the books, and he's the inspiration. When I put his name and likeness in the book and featured him, it was not to make a social statement. It's just real life. It's real life situations happening. It's universal messages that my son is inspiring and that he's on. And so I can do what I want. And we need this. And you can't silence me. Even though you have tried before to tell me that my stuff was too woke, just because the covers and the book features Black characters. I mean, don't weaponize the word that we started. Don't weaponize the word that we started and make you seem like the victim. How are you the victim? Okay. So then my PC response would be
no, you're good.
My PC response would be children's literature, the statistics in children's literature shows that diverse characters, particularly Black characters, account for only 13% of children's books. And so if I can put out a book that kind of notch that percentage up, why not? I mean, it's reflecting my life. So yeah.
Yeah, I love that. And you know what's sad about that is, if I had to guess, I would have said that it was even smaller than 13%. And it's sad
It
that
might be like 12.9.
Right, just go ahead and round it up, just inching up to it. Well, I mean, I don't know. I'm just saying that's just based off of, and I guess I'm thinking, when we were younger, I don't remember seeing something like what you have, like a whole catalog of books that feature African American children. You didn't see that. I mean, it was once in a blue moon. You know, maybe you might see one out of every 30 books that you come across.
Yep. And I didn't even think about it either, though, when I was growing up. That's I don't know if it's silly or sad, but I'm like, I didn't even think about that. I wasn't seeing myself in literature, but the children nowadays do think about that.
Yeah.
There are first graders, second graders who realize that they're absent in literature, and that's heartbreaking.
Right. And that's great that you're filling that gap and that need.
Yes.
Yes. I love it.
So I hope I did the game right.
Oh, yeah. You did. Totally. Perfect answer. Okay. And then, so again, I'm gonna let you do both sides, or whichever one you want to choose. So, as a Sagittarius trans Capricorn, I got.
It's funny.
So this game, I got 5 on it, or it's just basically another segment. Basically, if there were 5 words that you could use to describe your sign, what would those words be?
Let's see, 5 words to describe my signs.
Hey, yeah, it could be. Or if you want to do 5 and 5, that's cool too.
Okay, that's a lot. Let me go to my guide again. I would say for Sagittarius, let me think. I think I can be spontaneous within reason. My husband do talk. I mean, I guess it's supposed to be a negative thing, but he was like, "Who plans fun?" And I'm like, "So you can make sure you're getting the most fun out of the experience. Like, why wouldn't you plan it?"
So I'm with you on that. Yeah.
Like, come on now. So let's see. I'm trying to think. I don't know. I don't know if I could do Sagittarius. Okay, so Capricorn, I mentioned it earlier. I'm just gonna go through the list again. We're practical, we're determined, goal-oriented, consistent, which I think is very important because I love that trait of being consistent, loyal. Was that 5? Okay, and loyal.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and loyal. Okay, those are great. Those are great answers. I love that. And it's, I'm trying to figure out how I'm gonna kind of word this. I feel like with Capricorns and Sagittarius to some degree, which is interesting because the sign that you identify with more, I feel like is the more practical side, if you will, of Sagittarius. I have a friend who was on the first season of the podcast, and she told me right before, this is kind of like right around the time the pandemic hit, she wanted to live overseas. So you hear people say that all the time, like, oh, if that other one gets elected, I'm moving to Brazil. Or, you hear people say that, but they never do it.
Right.
She did it. And she's a Sagittarius. She has continued to do it. And she's not only, she just goes from city to city, country. Yeah, pillar to post. Yeah, pillar to post. She goes to all these different places. And she's so adventurous. And it's, I guess because I think with more of a practical mindset, which I don't know if that's so much so Aquarius or not. it's kind of scary to me because I'm thinking, well, dang, like, okay, what happens if you don't have enough money? And I mean, because she's retired now,
Ooh.
but the way she broke it down to me is $1,000 in the
Mhm.
US stretches way further if you're in, Guatemala, for instance,
Yeah.
than it would here. So she's able to hold on to her money a lot longer. So I think I guess the duality of those two signs is interesting because you have one sign that's kind of like, hey, did you think about this? Did you think about that? And then the Sagittarius, I would say the extreme side of Sagittarius is more like, hey, pack
We'll
a
figure it out.
bag, let's go.
Yeah.
Right, we're gonna figure it out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I do know another trait that I identify, or I used to
Okay.
identify with the Sagittarius. The freedom. I used to think
Okay.
that I was never going to get married because
Really?
I was
Why?
like, I thought that I was not going to be able to be committed to one person. Not saying I was like cheating or being
No, no,
nosy.
no. But yeah, just holding no, like holding their attention or yeah, I get that.
But it was like when you're in a relationship and you're like, this is what our relationship, like this is what it's gonna be, like just you, and then like I
The
don't
whole
know, it was
time.
just kind of
Right.
yeah, it was kind of weird. But then I found the one, I guess. So I guess the other ones just weren't the one. Then I found the one, and I couldn't even imagine not being with him. I'm like, oh,
Right.
yeah, that's fine. But yeah, I used to view marriage or long-term relationships, even though I was like in 2-year plus relationships, as
Mhm.
like a ball, like a chain.
Really?
Yeah, especially if they're gonna tell it. Because I mean, when you get married, you have to work together to
Mhm.
achieve things and just
Consider the other
be and stay
person and
together. Yes.
right. Mhm.
Consider the other person. And so it's like now you telling me I can't just up and go. Now you telling me I have to answer to. And that was just mind-boggling for me to have to talk to somebody about what I want to do. Like, what are you talking
Right.
about? So yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I totally can see that because and so it's funny you mentioned that because whenever I read things about Aquarius and Sagittarius, um, we're kindred spirits in that way. Because that's always been one of my drawbacks in relationships too. Or hesitations rather, and I would say drawback. It's like, okay, am I still gonna be able to do what I want to do? Because I'm in this relationship. And I think that's really cool that, and not to sound sexist, but you as a woman would even say that because a lot of times,
Yeah.
the stereotype is, women want to be in relationships. They're
Mhm.
looking for relationships. They're groomed in a sense
Yeah.
to get married. That
Yeah.
they want that. So I think that's a testament to a lot of people who may be just kind of like fiending for a relationship, so to speak. It's like, to me, I feel like the best relationships are the ones that you get into that you weren't looking for.
Yes,
Uh-huh.
exactly.
Yeah. Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. That's dope. I love that. That is so cool. So yeah, I'm just, like I said, I'm just still amazed at the whole identifying with the other sign.
Look,
But
everybody gonna start saying
yeah,
it.
but I get it. And what's so interesting about that too was earlier this season I had an Aquarius on, and she told me about an app. I'm gonna see if I can pull it up on my phone, and it's called Astro Matrix is the name of it. And
Okay.
so if you get a chance to download it, it's pretty cool. It's free,
Mhm.
and you do have to know the time that you were born,
Yeah. Mhm.
like time of day and all that. And so when I looked at my chart, and this is the interesting part about it, because you hear people say all the time, "Oh, I hate this sign," or "I hate that sign,"
Yeah.
and that's one thing I try not to do on this show. Like, there's love for all the signs, but exploring each one's quirks. But every sign is good in their own way. Um, and so when I looked at my chart, I was surprised that um, there's like 12 to 15 different versions. You have your sun sign and then the moon rising
Yeah.
and all these other things. So actually, even though I'm an Aquarius, the sign that appears on my chart the most is Aries.
Mm.
Yeah, so maybe I should be a trans Aries.
I think you are.
I need to-
Now it's making sense to you, huh? You've been
Hey.
trying to fit the Aquarius mode and it's just not working.
So hey, I might need to lean more to their side. I don't know.
Yep, trans Aries. Heard it here today. Breaking news.
Hey, boom. That's right.
It's so freeing, isn't it?
Hey, that's right. But it's interesting, and this is so, like, I don't know if you can see it, but this is how it looks. So it goes through this whole like chart, and when you click on each one, it's like details of each sign.
Yeah.
And it's spot on. It's pretty interesting, like when it tells you things about yourself. So it's like, okay, it
And
makes some
if
sense.
I did that, it might tell me
Yours might be Capricorn.
It might be Capricorn, or maybe they'll be because of the time I was born and all that stuff. Well, extracted.
Right.
I'm like, what is wrong with her? I always tease my mama, like back in Shakespeare, they say the man that wasn't born because like the parent had a C-section or something. So I always say, when I was extracted from you,
right.
I didn't have a normal birth. But so maybe the time and all those things, it would be different if I actually knew that. Maybe. Or maybe it would confirm that I am trans Capricorn.
Right. Hey, it might. Right. All right. Well, hey, well, before we get into, I can't believe this time is just flying by. I love it. Before we get into the last segment, Dead in the Water, I do have a question. Now, I know the answer to this, but I just want to ask it so that you have a chance to share this with the world, because I think the thought behind it is so dope, and I'm into names and concepts and all that kind of stuff. So do you mind sharing how you came up with the name Sugar Cookie Books and what it means?
I was like, what name we about to talk about?
I was like, what? Like, what is this?
Yes. Okay. So coming up with the name of Sugar Cookie Books. So as I'm embarking on this journey of becoming a published author for the first time, my first book was Andrew Learns About Actors. I'm getting ready to release it to the world. My husband was like, I asked my husband, like, hey, you think I should like set up an imprint or anything, or just release it? And he was like, why not set up an imprint? This is going to be a business. I'm like, it's just one book. Calm down. And he was like, no, you never know how it's going to go. Because at the time I was short-sighted. Hey. Well, that's not Capricorn, huh? Because Capricorn is long-sighted. So
they are. Yeah, that's true.
I was like, it's just one book, whatever. And he was like, you never know. So I started looking at a book that I have on my shelf, Trademarking for Dummies or something like that. And I was like, okay, well, if I'm actually going to have a business, because he was saying something about trademarking it and all that stuff. And I'm like, what are you talking? It's just one book. Like, calm down. So anyway, I did listen. I looked up Trademarks for Dummies, was reading through it. You have a very specific elements that you have to meet to trademark your business name, a business name. And so one of the examples they were showing about being unique or whatever was Apple computers. Like Apple, it's a computer. It has nothing to do with fruit, things like that. And so I'm like, okay. And that kind of got me thinking about food. Because at first I was thinking like Storytime Publishing, but of course, a lot of people have something like that. So anyway, I started thinking about food, and I started thinking about what I liked. And I started thinking about, I don't know, my mind just kept going. And then I thought about a chocolate chip cookie. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's so cool, because chocolate chip cookies are everywhere. They're a classic. It's intergenerational, cross generations, like old and young enjoy the chocolate chip cookie. You're like, everybody knows what it is. And then I was like, but I don't really prefer chocolate chip cookies. Like, my cookie is a sugar cookie.
Yeah, a good sugar cookie is undefeated. I'll have to agree with you on that.
And so that's when Sugar Cookie came to be, because I realized that Sugar Cookie had the same traits and thoughts and feelings and emotions that chocolate chips have. So if you're going to see a chocolate chip cookie, you're likely going to see a sugar cookie as well. And so I can still have the same feelings of something you can enjoy. You know, I have like children's books, your kids will enjoy or something like that. So Everybody can enjoy it. Old, young, it's identifiable, it's youthful. And I just hope to be a timeless classic. So that's how Sugar Cookie Books came to be.
Well, it's definitely timeless and it's classic. I love it because every time I see it, I just think it fits so well with the whole branding of children's books. And um, I love anything that ties in with food, to be honest. So when I saw it, I was like, oh, that's cool. I loved it.
I always get people like, well, where are your sugar cookies? And I'm like,
Really?
yeah. You asked Steve Jobs at the time, where
Right.
is Apple?
Give me an apple. Right.
Like, come on, y'all. It's not that hard. So.
I love that. Okay. So I knew the story behind it, but I wanted to ask you that here on the podcast because I just think that idea is just so cool.
Yes. Thank you.
You're welcome. Of course. All right. So we're at the last segment here. So this is called Dead in the Water. And I play this with everybody on the podcast. And so how it works, you two choices, this or that type of choice. And instead of telling me the one you like the best, you'll tell me the one that you would throw back in the water or the one you like the least.
Okay.
All right. And so first one up is Nikki Giovanni or Maya Angelou.
Oh, you already know the answer of this. But you wrong. You wrong for putting Nikki up there against the GOAT. So unfortunately, I'm gonna have to throw Nikki into the water only because you know this.
And you have a book.
Exactly.
Yes.
Everybody knows that
yes.
Dr. Angelou was the grandmother in my head. I even was approached to write the story of Maya Angelou, and it's published with Simon & Schuster. So Maya Angelou all day. Okay.
I love it. Okay. Sorry, Nikki.
I know. Why you do that to my girl? All
right. So sugar cookie or oatmeal cookie? I think I know the answer to this one.
I gotta toss the oatmeal cookie, especially if it got raisins. We're gonna toss that cookie into the what? Lake? Where is it going?
It can go any body of water. Lake, ocean.
Oh, it's dead in the water. Yeah, the oatmeal cookie is dead in the water.
Wait, so you don't like raisins?
I don't like raisins, and my husband gets so mad because he loves an oatmeal raisin cookie, and I love the oatmeal of the raisin cookie. And so I pick around and take out the raisins. He's like, "That's pointless." And I'm like, "But the batter is good. I just don't like the raisins. And why are you in my business? I didn't ask you to pick out my raisins. Leave me alone." So anyway.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, now I gotta say I'm with him on that. I love a good oatmeal raisin cookie. Now I don't think raisins should go with everything, but in a cookie, I'll take it. All right. So these two groups, Escape or SWV, who are you getting rid of?
I'm gonna toss. I'm gonna toss. Hold on. Let me think. Oh, hold on. For real. What I need from you. Okay, hold on, because that's a jam. Hold on. Yeah, that's okay. Ooh. Okay, hold on. For real. We ain't got all day. Come on, girl.
No, you good. You good. Take your time.
Because the only hit that's coming to mind for SWV is Weak. And then I got like two hits for Escape.
Yeah.
So I'm like, but I know SWV has some more.
Well, they had, so I'll tell you a few. They had Can We? Yeah, the Michael Jackson one. I'm So Into You.
I'm so into you.
Yeah. And,
I'm going to go ahead and toss them only because... I've seen Escape in a concert when they came with Monica and whoever else they was with. And because when I go to karaoke, I perform Escape songs. So
which one?
The one I was just singing. Your
Understand
love and make me weak. No, what? Yeah. Understanding. What I need.
Okay.
Understand. And I get rave reviews for my performance.
Hey, okay. The next time I'm in Houston, if you do it at karaoke, I have to show up.
Right. So SWV is in the water.
Sorry, SWV.
Unfortunately.
All right. So between these two, TV judges. Judge Mathis or Judge Judy? I'm going to have to throw
Mathis only because Judge Judy is the GOAT. We wouldn't have... She's the first to do it. The first that ever was. And she's still going. That's the only reason.
She is. You're right. I Judge Mathis, so the reason why I was so shocked is because Now you're right. Judge Judy, she is the blueprint for TV judges because she was the first one to like really like pop off and make it big. But her attitude just, I don't know. Some of the stuff she says, I just want to slap her. I just
I think people could say that about Mathis though, because is he a Capricorn? Well, is he a Sag?
He might be. I don't know. I don't know what he is. I might have to look that up. But he, the thing I like about Judge Mathis is he feels like that uncle that you know. Yeah. Like, he may say something kind of off the cuff, but it's like, seems like he might be.
He would have took it. He would have took it, but if it wasn't for Judge Judy, there would probably be no Judge Mathis as far as TV.
Well, that's true. That's true. Okay. So see, and I just looked up his birthday, it's April 5th. So he's an Aries. So since I'm trans Aries, that could be why that might have been. See, that's a reason why I picked him.
Yes.
All right. So this last one. So weekend or weekday as it relates to writing books.
Oh, okay. I'm like,
which one would you write?
Weekday. Weekend goes into the water.
Really? Okay, so you prefer to write on the weekdays.
Yeah, because the weekend I try to, make that time for my family. I try to say, you know what, you don't have to be busy all day, every day. Like, take a break. I try to, and then you also have stuff you're doing on the weekend. So throw a weekend in the water.
Okay. In the water it goes. All right. Okay. So before we close out, is there anything that you would like to say as far as like anything that you have new or anything that's coming up, or even how to deal with a Sagittarius / or trans Capricorn? Anything like that you'd like to close out with?
I mean, I will say, and I invited you to this, and I hope everybody who listens doesn't come, but I am having my 4th year book anniversary party, something I just made up.
No, I love that. That's so cool.
So that is coming up. It is in less than a month now, or right at a month now. So I am excited. I already got my outfit ready. Look, that's me planning. I got my outfit ready from head to toe. Okay. And I can't.
That's a Capricorn trait. I feel like.
And then as far as anything else, I just really enjoyed being on this podcast. It was just funny to giggle, and I've taught you something. Trans Zodiac sign. It's okay.
Hey, I love it.
I think we as individuals are always changing. And I think a lot of it, again, as I was saying earlier, came from just maturing. You get more responsible and all those type of things. And so I can't, and part of it, I can't be as spontaneous as I might have used to being back in the day. Kids ruin things because you start thinking about, like, I have kids. I want to make sure that I don't do anything to jeopardize being here or jeopardize their future and all that stuff.
True.
So, it kind of make you turn into Capricorn.
All parents, sounds like all parents are kind of honorary Capricorns.
Exactly. But no, it's been fun. That's what I have coming up. I am working on a chapter book. I call it a transitional chapter book. It is for ages 6 to 9. And I guess I'll give you this exclusive because I haven't told many people what the book is about.
Oh, okay.
So I'm hoping it's going to be a series. It's currently in illustrations because it's still going to have illustrations here and there. But it is a legal twist to classic fairy tales. So have you ever wondered what would happen if the 3 pigs sued the big bad wolf? We'll find out.
Oh, I love that. I love that. And that's I've never seen that done before on a children's book scale. So that's unique too. Wow.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm nervous. I'm always nervous whenever I put out something, but I'm excited for its potential and to just do something new. And I think I am introducing something new. I've seen them use fairy tales and kind of have the science aspects from them. Like I just picked up a book from the library that was like debunking the 3 pigs and the wolf, but I haven't seen anything that has the legal twist. And so I'm excited. I'm like, they can act it out in classrooms if they want. And my son reads it, of course. He read the manuscript. And the fact that he gets so engrossed in the character, like the wolf is being represented by a coyote. And a coyote, of course, is like defending the wolf. Like that's what lawyers do. They defend. And my son is just like, I hate this coyote. And I'm like, well, you have to. So I'm like trying to teach kids about having an open mind. So I actually don't even refer to the big bad wolf as the big bad wolf. I refer to him as the wolf to kind of like, everybody's presumed innocent. So trying to put those ideals, teach those ideals as well with that book. But anyway, so I'm excited. That's an exclusive. There you go.
Hey, well, thank you for sharing that here, and I will be on the lookout for that. That is dope. So I definitely support. I love that. Yay. That's a really, really cool idea.
And don't nobody else try to get it out before I do.
Yeah, don't do it. Don't do it, because she's a lawyer. She'll get you. Don't do it. Well, thank you again, Tiffany. I appreciate it. Thank you for being on, joining me tonight. It's only 2 more episodes for this season. So next week, I'm going to have actually a couple. One of them is a Taurus. The male is a Taurus. Taurus and Gemini couple.
Whoa.
Yeah, I know.
Oh my God. That's a good one right there.
Yeah. They make a great couple. But it's definitely an interesting mix.
Them Geminis.
Yeah.
Geminis.
Uh-oh.
Them Gemini. I can see why a Taurus could probably, anchor them though. Or deal with them. Yeah. But Geminis. Have you done a female Taurus yet? A woman who's a Taurus?
I have. Mm-hmm.
Okay. I need to go back and listen to that one then.
Yeah, I sure have. It was last season, the 2nd episode, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Yeah, it's actually a ex co-worker of mine, and we just remained friends even after we both left the job. But yeah, she's also very hardworking. Reminds me of you in that way.
Oh.
Yeah.
Now you stop, Carlos, for our push.
But yes, thank you, and thanks everybody for tuning in, for listening, for watching. Again, before you leave, if you're still watching, make sure you hit that subscribe button if you don't mind. And again, follow Tiffany on the social media platforms. So again, that's Facebook at Tiffany Obeng /S and IG at Sugar Cookie Books. So make sure you follow her and be on the lookout for her events. Go to her website, sugarcookiebooks.com, and make sure you support her books as well.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Bye.
All right. Have a good one. Thanks, Tiffany.